promote the In My Fucking Feelings challenge, kids are still gonna look up the In My Feelings challenge and then watch multiple videos of people dancing outside of cars on YouTube. We don't want to promote unsafe behavior. It's on your platform, dog. You know, looking.
Ja, hat recht. Volle Kanne recht. Sozialer Endzug. Ich wünsche euch viel Spaß. Hallo Leute, mein Name ist Sozala und ja, heute kommt zum ersten Mal, naja, nicht ganz zum ersten Mal, der war schon mal in Gastauftritten bei SC4 dabei, TheOdd1sOut, hier auf den Channel. Mit dem Video I Miss YouTube Rewinds. Wisst ihr noch? Diese gesamte komische Cringe-Geschichte mit YouTube und das Ganze. Ach, ich glaube, der wird das alles gleich selbst erklären. Keine Ahnung. Auf jeden Fall wird er uns nicht ohne Erklärung da lassen. Der Style ist ähnlich zu Jane Animation. Er war auch Gast bei Jane Animation. Bei SC4 ist er auch Gast gewesen. Und ja, ich hoffe, diese Reaktion geht gut, aber es gibt mehr Reaktionen zu ihm, also Hals- und Beinbruch. Let's go!
Guys, I have a brilliant idea. What if we do the In My Feelings challenge? What do you think?
Was ist das?
The In My Feelings challenge. It was that dance people did outside of their moving cars in 2018.
Hä?
That's stupid. I know. It's weird to me that YouTube Rewind 2018 came out over 5 years ago, which makes it old enough to be something to reminisce about. There's a fresh generation of iPad kids who don't get to experience the yearly tradition of coming together as a community and watching the newest YouTube Rewind. And absolutely hating it. In case you all
Das war 2018. Ich erinnere mich noch gut dran. Obwohl ich es lange nicht geguckt habe. Ja, da war die kurze Erklärung, wie erhofft.
And since these videos were produced by the very platform you're currently watching this on, Rewinds would always receive
Ich glaube, ich bin falsch. Naja, der Upload ist richtig. Original liegt natürlich im Upload.
But you see, as time went on, the general public and the YouTubers involved started to grow weary. People were throwing around words like cringe and this isn't what YouTube represents and that's that. That's that. And it all accumulated to YouTube's magnum opus, YouTube Rewind 2018. Everyone controls rewind. Hashtag YouTube Rewind, which is a video that was so universally hated that it holds the world record for most disliked video ever.
Ja, das wussten wir alle schon. Ja, der wurde ja danach entfernt. Aus diesem Grund vermutlich.
Until finally YouTube snapped and was like, all right, fine. If no one wants it, we'll stop doing it. We were just doing this as a favor anyways. And so YouTube discontinued the
Ja, diese Teile vorher waren aber gut, auch wenn sie cringe waren.
The last time we ever got a rewind. What about me, James? How dare you even consider yourself being called a rewind 2019?
Ich hab damals drauf reagiert und ach du Schande, war das grausam.
Leave 2019 before I tell you the top 10 ways on how I'm gonna hurt you. So getting back to the actual last YouTube Rewind, you know, the one with the most dislikes in the whole world. If we skip to 3 minutes and 2 seconds into that video, we see, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. Oh geez, that's me.
Er war drin, ja.
I know I'm a little late to the party, but since we've all had enough time to grow and reflect as people, I would like to finally share some of my thoughts and experiences working on YouTube Rewind 2018.
Das ist der interessante Part.
The first thing I want to talk about is how none of the YouTubers involved got any type of monetary compensation. At least none of the ones I talked.
Habe ich geahnt.
This was a big issue that a lot of other YouTubers had in their expose videos, but I personally was not bothered by it. Was I getting paid in exposure? Yes. In fact, I actually lost money doing this because I had to get my friend Rush to animate some of the scenes, so I paid him for his work. But what I'm trying to tell you is that as much as I'm about to complain about YouTube Rewind, don't feel any sort of empathy for me. Okay, I did this to myself. I think the best piece of advice I could give you is that if YouTube ever reaches out to you and is like, hey, do you want to be a part of Rewind? You should say, let me read the script first. But I didn't.
Oh nein, hat nicht den Fehler gemacht, oder?
2017. If you look at YouTube Rewind 2017 and watch all the way to the end, keep going.
Mein persönlicher Favorit.
There. Right there in the credits is me and Jaden doing a floss in space.
Und in dieser Season hatten wir nur
a lot cooler back then.
Julian Bam in space.
Animators to animate our characters in the middle of a jello fight, and I think they wanted to put our cartoon characters over footage of real life YouTubers in the middle of a
Guck,
jello
wen haben wir
fight.
denn hier?
But they
Jaden.
gave us no direction, and I don't think they ever filmed a scene where they were like, okay, real life YouTubers, remember to leave that spot empty because that's where the animated guy's gonna go. Because they gotta plan that kind of stuff out ahead of time, right? So instead, they just threw our unusable animated jello fight with no background at the very end as this extremely out of place post-credit scene. So 2017 was pretty uneventful.
Das habe ich vergessen.
Yeah, I was in YouTube Rewind, but I was in the credits. Who's gonna stick around and watch the credits, But 2018 was gonna be my year. Rewind wanted me back, and this time
War das gerade ein Special Letter?
a speaking role. Holy shit. My line was going to be, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. And then the YouTuber Swoozy, who would be in his real life human form, would say, right? And then we'd fist bump Who Framed Roger Rabbit style. So do you remember that trend in 2018 where people were doing that dance outside of their moving
Diese
car?
dummen Videos
that was called the
in
My Feelings
der
challenge.
dummen
Back in 2018, I
Compilation-Sache.
didn't even know it was called that. I thought it was called stupid. Now, if you've at all watched YouTube Rewind,
Das ist lebensmüde.
Everyone Controls Rewind,
Was ich da für Nummern gesehen habe, Fahrräder wurde überfahren, der Typ fiel auf Hintern, ja, das Auto ging Schrott.
That not a single YouTuber or talk show host can be seen dancing outside of a moving vehicle. That's because YouTube doesn't want to promote unsafe behavior. So
Augenblick mal. Sie wollen das nicht promoten, aber machen die Challenge? Hä?
YouTube, if you don't want to promote unsafe behavior, don't promote the In My Fucking Feelings challenge. Kids are still gonna look up the In My Feelings challenge and then watch multiple videos of people dancing outside of cars on YouTube. We don't want to promote unsafe behavior. It's on your platform, dog.
Ja, hat recht, volle Kanne recht.
But I was still optimistic. I was so excited.
Hat volle Kanne recht.
Huge project, and I knew there were going to be
Das macht keinen Sinn.
YouTubers involved, but I was going to be one of the few animated ones. I was going to stand out. I was going to be the odd one out. Knowing how Rewind handled animation in 2017, when they asked me to be a part of 2018, I told them, hey, love the line, but I think it would be a good idea if we met in person, and that way you can show me everything you're planning, and I can ask you all the right questions. And they agreed and invited me to visit the set the day they were filming Swoozy's line. So I was there, physically behind the camera, when Swoozy said, right? And then fist bumped nothing. I got to experience what it was like to be on a real film set with actors and directors and costumes and catering and
Okay, jetzt wird's interessant.
Honestly, for just one line. And maybe it was because they had booked Swoozy for a full hour, but they had this beautiful man say, right? And then fist bump nothing no less than 50 times.
Bitte was? Das haben die 50 Mal aufgenommen?
And then after take 87, my stomach sank when the director said, okay, Swoozy, how about you try saying, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. Wait a minute. That's my line. Are we changing it? Which line am I animating now?
Was ist denn jetzt los?
Both? Just like how you got Swoozy to do both? And what, you'll pick your favorites? I asked the director right there which line was I animating, and he said he was going to let me know.
Wow. Und das bei einem Animierer.
Which parts of him dancing was I going to animate my guy next to? He said he was going to let me know that too. So I took all the information I learned that day and referred it back to the other animators. What they wanted were 2 shots. They wanted 5 seconds of our characters dancing, and they wanted another shot of all of us sitting around a campfire singing horribly. After doing some quick math, I realized that if all 7 of us animators did a 5-second dance, That would be 35 seconds of cartoons dancing, which for a YouTube rewind would be a lot of screen time. I had a sinking feeling that they weren't going to be using our full 5-second clips. And they didn't even let me know. Now, for my life-changing speaking role, I had to record my line on my own, which normally wouldn't be a problem. But in late 2018, I had just moved to California, and I didn't have my own setup set up. And to make the whole situation worse,
Schöner Satz an der Stelle.
1 week to finish my animation and record my line. So,
ja, Animators haben eine ziemliche Time Clock.
The second best piece of advice I could give you is that if you're ever in need of a quick jerry-rigged sound booth, go into your closet and hide under a comforter. In fact,
Bitte was?
Real-life human James here, coming to you on a blue Yeti inside of a bathroom. The acoustics in here are terrible. Could you imagine voicing a cartoon character in this? Guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. See, it doesn't work. Now, all right, and now we're here inside of our makeshift sound booth, and you can hopefully hear the quality change right away.
Das geht?
Guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. See, you know, we don't need expensive sound booths to have a good time. But back in 2018, I wanted the most important
Ich habe leider so ein Ding nicht gerade.
in a professional sound booth.
Aber das sollte ich mal ausprobieren.
I was in luck. You see, California is one of the few places home to something called a YouTube space. A
YouTube Space?
Advertises itself as a place to aid
Ich habe noch
content
nie von einem
creators,
YouTube
providing them
Space
with
gehört.
facilities to create content for their YouTube channels. And to access said facilities, you needed at least 10,000 subscribers.
Ah, jetzt weiß ich auch
They
warum.
put a number on it, but I get it. I had just
Ich krieg ja nicht mal die 1000 endlich voll.
I knew I was going to be hitting this place up all the time. When I first went to the YouTube space, I didn't call ahead or set up an appointment or anything because there wasn't an option to do so on the website.
Wow.
I figured they would have to help me out, right? The line I needed to record was for a YouTube rewind. And you're a YouTube space. Like, Susan personally asked me to be here, you know? So I drove an hour to the space, I went inside, showed them my sub count, and they said that in order to use the facilities, I had to fill out all these forms on my computer back home.
Was?
It's for a YouTube rewind.
Was?
Another hour back home and started filling out the forms.
Er ist hingefahren, um das zu erfahren und dann zurückgefahren?
I think this wild goose chase is probably going to take longer than a week to resolve. With time running out, I gingerly asked my new friend Aaron if I could use his setup, and he said yes. And I didn't even have to show him my sub count. I mean, I showed him anyway, though. The line you hear me say in the 2018 rewind was recorded in the Game Grumps office. Which I think means,
das sagt mir mehr.
at the very least, Game Grumps deserves to be credited in the description of Rewind. Come on, YouTube. They were the only ones who took me in when your own company turned me away. The deadline was fast approaching. I mean, it was fast approaching as soon as I got it. But I've been in crunch mode before, and I'm sure the nameless video editors were just trying to hit their impossibly tight deadlines too.
Stimmt, die wurden auch nicht mal gefettet.
What I was making all of these sacrifices for.
Auch interessant, dass da so ein Scribble-Notes-Browser war.
Love this video and what it represents, and look at my channel afterwards and subscribe. December 6th.
Ja,
2018.
ist ja gut gelaufen.
Changed history. It was raining that day, and the world was exposed to what YouTube had been cooking up, and they all collectively hated it, like a lot, like to the point where I would be lucky if I didn't lose subscribers. I think the audience knew that none of the YouTubers involved had any say in the creative process. We were just reading our lines from YouTube's script, you know? So at least I get to say I'm in the most disliked video in history, and no one's too mad at me. Right? So was all of this stress worth it?
Das waren alles Comet People mit Mistgabeln. Eieieiei.
Exposure was overwhelmingly negative. In fact, I think Rewind was only positive for one other YouTuber. Do you have any guesses? Jaden
Was?
Animations.
Was ist das denn jetzt für ein Zufall?
Of 2018.
Ernsthaft. Ich weiß, sie war im Video, aber warum? Ach stimmt, der war ja in den vorigen Teilen da.
Knew he wasn't going to be included again, so she snuck in a PewDiePie reference into her 5-second.
Nein!
No one caught it, and it made the final cut.
Als ob!
The least cringy part of Rewind.
Okay, schlauer Schachzug von Jaden.
And all I gotta say to that is, good job, Jaden. How are you enjoying that cake and eating it too? Now, there were a lot of valid reasons why people disliked 2018's Rewind. One of them being that the video starts out with Will Smith. He's not a
Ach ja, der Typ, der ja bei den Oscars geslappt hat.
2016 started out with The Rock and 2017 started with The Colbert Show, but
ich wusste nicht mal, dass das Shows waren.
I don't know if you remember what YouTube was like in 2018, but it was in the news a couple of times, you know, over a few small things. However, with all of that being said, I do genuinely miss YouTube Rewinds. Getting to wake up and go, wow, it's December and a new YouTube Rewind just dropped. I'm gonna watch it. And then I get to see a handful of YouTubers I recognize do a dance and not recognize any of the other YouTubers. And then I get to see the rest of the internet's reaction to it. It's better than Christmas for me. Even if it's the cringiest video ever. We still all watched it together as a community. And I think that's what I miss the most. When YouTube felt more like a community. As long as it's not a top 10 video, I welcome back YouTube Rewinds with open arms. And if they do make a comeback, I don't think I'd want to be a part of them. Not because I got burned in 2018, but because I wouldn't want to rob another ignorant YouTuber of the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be taken advantage of and work for free and be a part of history. For now, we just have to live with the 9 rewinds we do have. But if you're like me and are just dying to see more YouTube Rewind content, and I know
Es wurde doch gar keiner mehr produziert.
I've discovered a pretty massive Easter egg. In the description of Rewind 2018 is a link to see all the Easter eggs.
Was?
And for your viewing pleasure are 13 brand new shorts that I can only describe
Shorts!
as
Shorts!
that were edited together
Ich hasse Shorts!
using Rewind footage.
Ach, das ist auch
I
weh.
don't think that's what an Easter egg is. They're not that funny and are pretty hard to watch, but
Was zum Teufel ist das?
Rewind's all about? Have a good night. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Don't you ever say, 'cause I want you, and I want you, and I want you, and I want don't you ever hey?
Oh, that's
I
out.
don't know the rest of the words.
Oh, that's out.
All right, I think we got it.
Eieiei, dass so viel hinter den Kulissen war, ist interessant zu erfahren. Aber was für eine Nummer das war. Aber der letzte Satz ist halt voll die Wahrheit. YouTube ist keine Plattform mehr, die irgendwie die Creator unterstützt. Oder zusammenbringt. Es ist nur noch eine Plattform, well, for money. Zumindest ist das ihre Ansicht. Und sie wollen nur noch Shorts. Shorts, Shorts, Shorts. Ich persönlich habe sogar jetzt ein paar Shorts von meinem Shorts-Kanal wieder auf meinem normalen Kanal gemacht, nur um Originalvideos verlinken zu können, was ja nicht geht bei dem anderen Short-Channel, weil dieser Short-Channel ja schon wieder die Begrenzungen hat, weil dieser Short-Channel ja wieder eine Bestätigung benötigt. YouTube, manchmal könnte ich echt raus. Feuerblumen. Das ist natürlich jetzt nur Redewendung. Ist natürlich nicht ernst gemeint. Tja, auf jeden Fall war das eine gute Animation. Und der erste Test für ihn. Naja, ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Mal gucken, ob er wiederkommt oder nicht. Das war auf jeden Fall ein interessantes Video, mal zu wissen. Damit bedanke ich mich fürs Zusehen. Bleibt sozial, lasst noch da und bye.
Changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. on changing my life, and I won't look back ever again.